We're asking
Yeah.
for research. We're asking for our opinions to be heard, to matter. You know what I mean? Our undertones to matter, not just throwing something out there and expecting us to accept it.
Today we're talking with a social media influencer with over 400,000 followers across all platforms. Her name is Kayla Cake and her content is focused on lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. Today I'm going to ask her about pay disparities among influencers, building your personal brand, and just her overall career journey. Stay tuned. Hi Kayla, welcome to How
Hey,
She
hello,
Did It.
hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, you are a creator, a content creator, an influencer,
Mm-hmm.
whatever we're calling it these days. But I truly do think that you are a true influencer.
Mm,
And I think that there's a lot of
thank
debate
you.
going on about what we should consider a true influencer to be.
Yeah.
But I think that you are a true influencer because you've influenced me to get a silk press
Ah!
and a bob. No, seriously, because your videos where you're like unwrapping your
Yeah.
hair and your hair just
Mm-hmm.
flows so flawlessly down. I mean, I'm obsessed, and I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with your content in general. It's amazing, and it's
Thank
always
you.
very aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what inspired you to get into content creation in the first place?
Um, it kind of started from me just like indulging in it myself, like watching the girls on YouTube do their hair, do their makeup, swatch liquid lipsticks on their hands and stuff like that. And I was like, I kind of want to do that.
Mm,
So I did it. And I was like, okay, this is fun, but you know, what is my purpose for doing this? Like it's fun, but like what am I doing here? Like I kept doing it, kept trying, and even in the beginning, I was kind of scared of what people would think because it wasn't a normal thing to be an influencer like now it is. You know, everybody wants to be an influencer nowadays.
mm,
So, or content creator. And it wasn't like that back then. It was kind of looked down upon. It
yeah.
was looked at as like, you talking to a camera, like you talking to yourself, you know?
Mm,
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this and just kind of do it on the low. So I did it on the low for the longest time and I was just really enjoying it until I was just like, you know what? If somebody asks, I'm going to just say it.
yeah, I'm an
Yeah.
influencer, like own it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you share any challenges that you've been through since you've started this career journey and kind of how you've been able to overcome these challenges?
Honestly, in the beginning, like I said, it was more about what people would think because it's such a new field that everybody's kind of getting into. Again, when I got into it like 10 years ago, this wasn't a thing. Like it wasn't really looked at as a real job. It wasn't looked at as like, something that is accepted to film yourself and put your life out there and stuff like that. So that was, kind of a struggle for me to kind of be more open about it. Even still to this day, I struggle even vlogging in public because some people look at you and be like, "What are you doing?" You
Mm,
know. So that was one thing for sure. Like the acceptance as the whole industry grew and as I'm growing, just all those kind of tied together. So that was definitely one of them. I think another struggle too is definitely imposter syndrome. That's the one right
tell me
there.
about it.
She is on my neck.
Mm,
Yeah.
and she won't let go.
She won't. She will not let up. I think it's just human nature to sometimes doubt yourself,
Yeah.
but I think it's more important on how you pick yourself back up and how you can, even your village around you too, can help you kind of like get that confidence going to be like, you know what, no, I can do this, so I'm gonna go do it.
Mm,
So imposter syndrome definitely it kicked my butt today. I gotta be real, it kicked my butt today. So imagine back when
mm,
this whole industry wasn't even as big as it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What have been some key milestones in your career? Like, what were some moments where you were like, okay, I've made it? Maybe like a major brand deal or a brand trip.
Honestly, recently I work with Target, and that right there has been on my like to work with list for the longest time. And the fact that it actually happened, and it wasn't like a so and so through Target, it was Target. It was
Mm-hmm.
Target, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we getting somewhere, we getting
Yeah.
somewhere. And it's funny because sometimes I struggle even with figuring out what my milestones are because I have a hard time celebrating them because I'm like, okay, what's next? Like, how can I double it? You know what I mean? So sometimes it's hard to even just sit down and celebrate yourself because
Mm-hmm.
you just want the next big thing. Like, that's how I operate. I'm hungry. Like, I want more. I want more. It's like, girl, sit down, smell the roses, enjoy your accomplishment, and then move on. So I would say hitting 100K was definitely,
A big
yeah,
milestone.
on
That's a big deal.
Instagram. Because at the time, Instagram, having 100K on Instagram was like the huge thing that everybody wanted. And so when I finally hit it, I'm like, I
Yeah.
unlocked a new level. Hold
Yeah.
on. So it definitely brought more partnerships, like more attention, stuff like that from even management companies, brands, just people in general. You know, it's almost like a sign of like validation in some ways. Like once you reach certain milestones, and I think those are like the two major ones. Just working with one of my dream brands that I've had on my vision board for years, and then also hitting those huge number milestones that just kind of unlock this new world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, we love Target.
Yes, we do.
So, speaking of brand deals, recently there's been a little bit of controversy on the internet, right? And I'm sure you've been seeing it.
Yeah.
Because a content creator named Fanita, she spoke out about the pay disparities among influencers. So, the fact that minority creators and women of color are not being paid as fairly as some other creators. She brought up Alex Earl as a comparison, right? So, what are your thoughts on this as a content creator yourself, and have you personally experienced the pay disparities in this industry?
So while I haven't, dove too deep into the actual specifics of that, I can't speak on the pay disparity part. Now, I will say I can sit here with privilege because of my skin tone, but as far as just being a black woman in general, and then versus other creators, I have experienced some things of those other creators getting opportunities that I may not. So I can only imagine how it is for women of darker complexion who just feel excluded, not only in foundation shade ranges, but opportunities. Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying that because I think a lot of people would rather not have that conversation, especially when you're on the side of privilege that
Right.
kind of benefits you.
Right.
And I think it's important for everybody to speak on these issues.
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting. Like, I saw a video of a girl talking about how the influencer industry is like one of the only female dominated industries that actually pays well,
Yeah.
right? And women are literally like shaping a more inclusive and more equitable economy because by creating these opportunities for ourselves, we're like starting businesses as a result of it. But even within this space, minority women are still not having an equal experience.
Right.
And this is where like intersectionality comes in, right? Because like on so many levels, minority women have not had equal experiences as white women, not just in the influencer space, but in all aspects of life. And generally, these experiences are lesser positive experiences, right?
Yeah.
So this absolutely, undoubtedly needs to be talked about.
For sure.
But I think we need to be careful how we're saying it.
Yes.
Right? We need to make
Absolutely.
sure that we're not expressing ourselves in a way that divides us as
Right.
women. Because we'll be able to tackle this issue a lot better as a
Together.
unified, as a unified group.
Right.
So yeah, it's never on the creators,
Yeah.
right? For being paid more. Like the way that you just spoke about it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't blame yourself. Nobody's blaming the creators.
Yeah.
It's on the brands.
The brands.
And it's on society's views that unfortunately are not going to change overnight.
Yeah, representation definitely needs to be broadened. And I think that's just been a topic for so long. And sometimes I wonder, like, what's the holdup? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we still having to talk about this? Like, I appreciate that the conversation is still there, but who's fixing things? Like, what's the holdup? You know, like these brands. I'm talking to the brands. Like, what's the holdup?
Right? Because conversations, although they help, it's not enough. Like, we need action. We need
I just
change.
don't understand what they don't get. Like, what do you not get?
Yeah.
Even just the whole the euphoria situation that happened, where they tried to be inclusive, but they
completely missed the mark.
it's like you try to be inclusive and you try to hurry up and be inclusive. We're asking for research. We're asking for our opinions to be heard, to matter. You know what I mean? Our undertones to matter, not just throwing something out there and expecting us to accept it. Like we want to be considered in all aspects of everything, in every shade that we come in. You know?
Exactly.
So I just think these brands, it's on the brands to do better for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And to listen.
Yeah, to listen.
And I think
like
it
you
starts
said,
internally.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
you said, not rush into things.
Right, yeah.
Because look what happens when you rush into things. And going back to that controversy, I think the issue that a lot of people had with this controversy was that it also doesn't help to like compare apples to oranges, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's not compare the incomes of two content creators who are on complete opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of their respective niches, right?
Right.
So I think it's really important to be strategic about your personal brand also as a content creator, right?
sure.
Because the niche that you're a part of can honestly determine how much you can get paid. So how did you go about developing your personal brand?
I think I explored so many different realms, and I think I'm blessed. My journey, I'm blessed for it to be so long. So some people would say, "Oh, you've been doing this for 10 years." Like, what? But I wouldn't change it because I got to explore so many different realms of this industry. I thought I was a beauty girl. I thought I was a lace front girl. Like I thought I was a fashion girl. I thought I was a shower routine girl. I thought I was this type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love being every single one of those girls because I got to actually find myself. And I feel like I also grew up and that helped me find myself, like just trying out different little niches. Now I know what I like and what I don't like, and you know, things like that. And now I'm in, I would say, more of like a lifestyle, kind of leaning a little bit more towards beauty now that I'm in hair and, you know, a little bit more makeup and stuff like that. But I think, you know, the journey definitely helped me fine tune my personal brand for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, how important do you think consistency is in maintaining that brand? Like, do you ever post something and then regret it and delete it because it's not consistent with the brand that you've established for yourself?
I think consistency is good, but also trying new things can be fruitful because I think sometimes your community or your followers or even yourself, you can put yourself in a box sometimes to where like you're sitting here like, okay, if I drop a outfit picture, that's all, they're not gonna care. They just want to see me do my hair, you know? And it's like, no, if you really want to start dropping outfit pictures, do it. Why not? Try something new. Try something, like add something fresh to your portfolio. You know what I mean? But I think consistency definitely helps feed the people who are there for that specific topic. So like for my hair videos, I know I have a lot of my followers waiting for me to drop hair videos. They want to
Who
see
kind
me
of followed
style.
you because of your hair videos? Yeah.
Yeah, they want to see me style it. They want to see me unwrap it and brush it down. Like they want to see those things. The outfit pictures are like, okay, cool, you look cute, girl, but do
That's
that
not what we're
hair,
here
do
for.
that hair, brush that hair. But
Yeah.
then you also have people who appreciate you trying new things. So I actually had a comment, and this is like stuck in my head forever. She said, I followed you for your hair videos, but I stuck around for everything else. And I was just like, oh, I love you so much because that meant a lot because it made me feel more comfortable to try different things now. It's like, okay, they're accepting that I'm not just my hair. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
That when it kind of transitions into a point where like your personality is your
Right.
brand.
Yeah.
So you can kind of do whatever and people are going to stick around because they like you.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's also really important to understand the connection between like marketability and profitability, right? Because brands are looking for people who they can safely align themselves
Right.
with. So, how do you go about making yourself attractive to these brands?
I think it just all starts with being genuine about the products that you use, not gatekeeping, feeling free to like tag the brands. And I was telling one of my friends this, and she's probably watching, but I was telling her, I was like, tag these brands because you genuinely love them. Let them know that. From those tags, from those mentions, from that relationship that y'all may have in the DMs, it could turn into something beautiful. It could turn into one partnership. It can turn into a long-term partnership. It can turn into maybe you collabing with the brand or something one day. Just because you genuinely and organically showed your love for maybe one product, maybe the whole brand, maybe a whole line of whatever they, you know? So I just say be organic, let your community know what you like, what you don't like, and be honest. And you never know what can come from that.
Yeah, you're so right. I do also, though, think about the fact that although it's really, really important to be genuine and to be authentic, I feel like brands really do want to be with creators who are professional,
Yeah, for sure.
reliable, and positive, right?
Right.
So, like, even if you're being your authentic self, I think
Yeah.
it's also really important to be mindful of, like, how you might be received, right?
Yeah.
Like, be mindful of why you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
invited
yeah. Right.
to the content creator space.
Right. Yeah.
Because especially if you're trying to make money, like you want to make sure that brands feel safe,
Right.
you know, trusting you representing their product. So how do you go about like balancing the authenticity
Yeah.
with the professionalism?
You know, sometimes it's hard because it's like I may want to say a little joke here just to make the video interesting, but maybe this person won't get it, or maybe this person might take it the wrong way. So sometimes it is a little bit hard, I'm not going to lie, but I can only be myself. I can't pretend, I can't, you know, be flawed. Like, I just can't do that. I have to be myself.
Yeah.
And whether that means like taking the joke out, but still just saying it how I want to, not following the script verbatim. Because sometimes brands will give you like, they'll have you make a script and then they'll kind of edit it a little bit and then things like that. So, and they'll give you talking points as well. So,
I didn't know
you
that.
know, yeah. So sometimes it can feel pressure to like hit all these points, but it's all about like just kind of reading it through, getting it up here, breathing, and just letting it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's how I feel I communicate with my community more organically, because I kind of just let things flow out naturally. And the brands love that. Like, they don't want you to be robotic or anything like that. And I think that's where the authenticity comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of authenticity and just remaining true to yourself,
Yeah.
what do you look for in brand partnerships and collaborations? Like, are you selective with who you choose to align yourself with?
I will say in the beginning, I was not picky at all. I was just excited. I was like, okay, oh, this brand wants to work with me and they want to give me $50. Like, absolutely. But now I think as your brand grows and as you kind of get to know the industry a little bit more and as you get to know yourself more, and again, your personal brand, you kind of say no a lot more than yes now, because you're like, do I actually like this product? They may be paying me $15,000, but I didn't see no results. What am I even speaking on it for? I'm just going to go ahead and back out, honestly, because I feel like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I'm not being honest. I'm not being genuine. And if you never see me use the product again,
Then it's obvious. Yeah.
right. So I basically just look to see if a brand, you know, one, if their reputation is good. Because sometimes these brands, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also look to see, you know, obviously if they're paying fair. That's like some of the first things that you see. See if they're paying fair, and then also if the product or the campaign actually aligns with my brand. So do I really like the product? Do I actually use it on a daily? Is it a brand that I always wanted to work with? Do I actually really want to try this product? Is it fitting for a concern that I have? So say if I have acne and, you know, they have a product that is known to like break you out or whatever, I don't want to go for that. You know what I mean? No matter how much they're trying to pay me, I'm good. Or if it's like a hair coloring brand, I had a hair coloring brand reach out to me. I don't color my hair. So what am I partnering with you for?
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
It just doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just has to make sense.
Yeah, and it'll be obvious to your followers if it's not something like they're gonna be like, "Girl, what are you doing?" Like,
right, but it'll feel right
we see
within you
right through this.
too.
Yeah.
As soon as you get the deal, it's gonna feel right in here and in here. And from then on, you'll already know, because you have already built this community. You'll know if your followers are also going to resonate with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get to know them as well.
Right.
Yeah, it's very important to just maintain your values and stay true to yourself, especially once you start working with brands. I think it just helps you stay grounded for sure. So what inspiration do you have for any other people who are trying to make a full-time career out of content creation the way you've been able to do for yourself?
I think it's all about, I say this so much. Do you actually love it? Or do you just see everybody else gaining success from it, getting followers, getting brand deals, working with Target? Just kidding. But, like, do you really want to do this? Because if you don't, you're not going to last long. Because a lot of people don't talk about the hardships that comes with doing this. You're not going to get paid every day like it seems. You're not going to be driving a Benz tomorrow like it seems. Like you're not going to be working with these huge brands and getting paid tens of thousands of dollars tomorrow like it seems. You're not going to get paid for a long time. You're going to go through hardships. You're going to go through bad contracts. You're going to go through not even getting paid. You're going to go through these things. You're going to go through even just mental frustration sometimes. Like you're going to go through burnouts. You're going to go through even personal problems in your personal life that may affect your ability to work, your work ethic. So are you able to balance all that? Like, are you sure you're ready for that? And then once you have that hard conversation with yourself, go for it. Go for it. And then don't be scared like I was. I mean, it's natural. I'm a human and we're human. But if you really want to do something, you shouldn't care what nobody thinks. You shouldn't let anybody else's opinion get in the way of that. Go for it.
That's really great advice.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, I'm so
and sharing
excited
your
to be
story.
here.
Yeah, it was really great. I think this was an incredible conversation, and I think your insight is so valuable because you're very wise and you've gone through it. Like you're literally just speaking about your life.
Yeah.
But it's so valuable. You don't even know how valuable it is. So
thank you.